Welcome back to Keys to the Rock, episode 10, sponsored by CG Insurance.
Good like that.
Guys, episode 10, Daniel, that's quite the milestone. I thought we wouldn't see more than one.
I definitely did not think I would be around you this long.
I know.
But I'm glad that we're here. And I was on Twitter the other day scrolling and it said like 85% of podcasts do not make it past episode 10. So we have reached this point.
Did Elon Musk say that? I know he owns Twitter now.
You're killing it. But anyway, big shout out to CG, big shout out to all of our sponsors, and a huge thank you actually to one of our sponsors who appeared on our show last episode, episode 9 at Leamington Caves. Beautiful spot. I'm gonna get the
Matthew Kelly, Hamilton Legal.
Matthew Kelly, Hamilton Legal. We went into a really in-depth conversation about basically all things conveyancy and basically all legal parts of real estate. So that was very exciting. That was very, very exciting. And man, I mean, we're at a beautiful spot today if we're going to be, quite honest. And we're in the most, we're going to get into it, but I'm going to just tell us about a little bit where we're at and how we got here.
So my least favorite thing about this show is that I see you once a month, but my favorite part is just seeing different locations and all the extravagant properties, or in this case, we're at the wonderful Rosedon Hotel. And today we'll be talking to Horti-Tec, and what these guys do is absolutely incredible in terms of landscaping, and really it's almost like landscape architecture. So really looking forward to the episode today.
Yeah, no, 100%. These grounds are fantastically kept. Extremely well manicured, and we're going to get into basically all things landscaping today. So we're excited to have Sean, head of Horti-Tec on, president of Horti-Tec on, and we really just can't wait to get him on. But before we get into that, we always like to just basically touch into different elements and parts of, you're going to provide some marketing commentary.
Sure.
So just update the masses, I guess, on where we're at right now in the real estate industry and what you're sort of seeing on the market in Bermuda.
I mean, we were talking before filming, but definitely it's kind of the same thing. What's been going on for the start of this year? Myself and other agents are sort of almost reaching figures in terms of transactions and everything that we experienced for the entirety of last year. Many of us. So
and that's 4 months in.
Exactly. So it is shocking. One example: yesterday, a lovely new cottage in Hamilton Parish. Very kind of well priced, 10 showings and multiple offers in. 10 showings in one day.
And this is from yesterday?
That was yesterday. So,
So within 24 hours?
Yep, and that was a sales listing. And then for rentals, the rental inventory is sort of at a third, little less than a third of what the island typically ever sees. So, there's bidding wars, all the same with that. I've got a new one that it's actually my most recent Instagram post, and starting showings on Friday there, have 8 tours scheduled, and already a sight unseen offer for someone who wants to be sort of the first right of refusal for it because they've missed out on other properties. So it is unbelievable.
Hot.
Not going to last forever. It's hot like the weather, but you wouldn't tell because we're on camera, but it is hot underneath these coats, just like the market. But, it's not going to last forever, but what we are trying to convey to people is seriously, no matter what you think you might have previously tried to get for your house for sale, for rent, or what your best friend has told you, talk to a trusted real estate agent and just have them over to kind of gauge what the value might be in this market.
Offer that guide and just reassurance and just sort of really help you navigate, because it is, like you said, with the demand that is being seen for different rental and sales, it's one of those things where by having an agent, I guess, or
an appraiser as well.
By having an agent or anyone within the real estate market per se, it gives you sort of that inside track. Don't have to speak to how Bermuda is very much, having those relationships, but that is something that will definitely get you to the top of the list if you're already inside that circle. So reach out and don't just try to go and navigate yourself blind.
And just one further thing to add on that is, in recent years, sometimes when people have reached out and they're saying, Ben, I'm kind of thinking about listing my property. What do you think? And I'm never one to say, oh yes, now's always a good time. You can't. You'll get caught out from talking fluff and not knowing the facts and what's going on. So in the past, I'm like, you know what? There's XYZ occurring in the near future or whatever. Let's just wait off and see how the market will respond. If you don't need to sell right now. But
micro and macro factors affecting it. But right now, you're saying
right now, this is such a good time for landlords and sellers. And my favorite thing is when I sit down with somebody in their kitchen and they're saying, well, Ben, in a perfect world, we'd get, let's say, $1 million for our property. I hate it when it's higher than what I actually think it's worth. But when it's lower, and I'm like, actually, to surprise you pleasantly, hopefully, I think you could get 1.15 in this market, honestly, with ease. And it's just such a surprise, because until you enter the real estate market as a buyer, seller, landlord, tenant, you might not be aware of everything going on. You might not watch this podcast or read certain articles. So it's a pleasant surprise to many, and now is a good time.
Awesome.
So Daniel, talk about, in terms of valuations or anything to do, let's say, the specifics of certain types of properties. We've got a lot of myths and misunderstanding about like listed properties in Bermuda.
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought that up. So
you're welcome.
This guy. So listed properties is basically, it's when you're trying to hold a property to its architectural value of and sustain it in that shape and form that it's in. All right. So you want to maintain it in that condition. There's not a lot of changes you can do. It's very much to preserve the property in its original condition. There's different grades to the listings. So you have grade 1, 2, 3. And the issue that people find is when they see a listed property, they actually, sort of get intimidated because there's that fear factor that you can't really do stuff to listed properties. Now, that's not entirely true. Each situation is different. Each case is different as it goes, right? Each property, if it's a grade 3 listing, you might be able to, enhance it in certain ways, and you only have to really worry about this one portion of the property, say the facade or something like that. For other properties, you might have to maintain to keep the doors and windows wooden or something of that nature. So I just want to, basically just sort of dispel that myth that, it's a listed property, that means I can't really do anything with it. It's one of those things where it's like, actually, it can work out in your favor, whereas in terms of government fees, you can actually you don't have to pay certain planning fees and other building permit fees because the property is listed, because they want you to preserve it, and it's that way of adding that discount to help assist you and support you with maintaining that property to a certain standard. Now, obviously, there's going to be grade 1 buildings that's going to be like, let's say, the cathedral,
and that's
for example.
The most. So grade 1 is the most restrictive. And I guess we should also note that when we're talking about listed properties, we don't mean listed for sale. It essentially means protected,
historic, protected, preserved properties.
And I think it's kind of outlined by National Trust.
Yeah, so there's about 700, just under 800 properties that are listed on island. I'm not sure of where they go in the tiers, but it's going to be those, let's just say, those buildings that were originally here, from the early days for the most part, or hold some sort of value or significance to the Bermuda culture and community and historic shape. So don't have to get too much into it, but there's definitely more than enough resources online if you want to further talk about it. And then maybe even one episode we can that's something that we can have in a future episode.
From the National Trust,
But anyway.
But just one thing, sorry, close on that, which I think is so important, because if someone is touring a property that is, whether it's for sale or even if they own it or their family or friends own it, and if it is grade 1, 2, or 3 being the least restrictive, again, to Daniel's point, don't be scared off by the fact, I can't change anything, because sometimes you can do an extension in the same look and feel.
Each case, that's the thing.
Revisit and bring an architect or someone who can actually,
speak to
we
it
would be guessing
more
about what you can do from experience, what we see. But
you got to reach out to plan and get the information from them about the specific, because everything's so different.
I saw a house on Harbor Road. It was a listed property, and you would think, you wouldn't be able to do too much. They turned it, it's still in the process of being turned into multiple units. So it was just one house. Now it's going to be an upstairs and downstairs apartment, multiple, obviously, kitchens, and totally changing it. So again, it just goes to show that don't be scared off. There's a lot of potential still with what can be done. And properties can also be delisted sometimes. So anyway, food for thought.
The more you know. So with that, we're going to now hop into... Well, we're going to bring Sean on. Sean from Horti-Tec. So, Sean, let's give a round of applause for Sean. He's coming on. Let's go. And we're back. We are privileged to have Sean Adams from Horti-Tec here today, and he is going to basically just give us a nice rundown on all landscaping needs when it comes to your property, our property, his properties, everything, their properties, everything. So, Sean Adams, just start us off. Just tell us about yourself and tell us about Horti-Tec.
Yeah, well, first off, thank you guys for inviting me here. Gorgeous day.
Beautiful.
You can't beat it. Gorgeous grounds.
Yeah.
Very lucky to be here.
Bias with the gorgeous grounds.
Absolutely. But yeah, well, thank you again. My name's Sean Adams, president of Horti-Tec, and we've been operating for 6 years.
Okay.
And my background is I've lived here for 15 years, turf grass management background.
Okay.
Started at Riddles Bay, which is no longer here.
Well, it's here.
No, it's here.
It's here,
in a different.
there.
Yeah, it's just there, right? I was assistant superintendent at Riddles Bay. Moved over to Tucker's Point. Along the way, I started doing some side hustling with doing residential fertility and pesticide applications. And my first big breakthrough was actually at the Bacardi lawn, and from the Bacardi, which we still work at.
Great lawn, by the way.
Yeah, it's what we do.
Everyone knows Bacardi lawn.
Yeah,
It's
Bacardi lawn, Bacardi fountains. So
it's a quintessential lawn.
And then
in
Bacardi
Bermuda.
after that.
And,
Bacardi.
and not in that order.
No.
But yeah, so through the Bacardi lawn and my involvement there, we started to I started to get some traction, started to get more clients, and then organically, it became Horti-Tec.
Okay.
And then, that started about 12 years ago, and we've been, again, in operation for 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing to hear about your background. Obviously, my background is from the Azores, so I know a thing or two about landscaping and, the finer things of agriculture. But just talk about the different...
Do you, Ben?
I don't.
Do you, Ben?
3 generations ago, we came here not knowing any English, but it's been some time.
You know something. We were talking earlier.
Yeah, off camera. I know a little bit, yeah. But talk to us, though, about just what kind of services, what sort of products, or what do you guys just generally do that maybe other landscaping companies or landscape architects, whatever you want to call
Are you a landscaping company? I mean,
what are you?
Yeah, I'm sorry. So we are a landscape company. We really specialize, because of my background and because I was the founder of it, we specialize in turf grass management. We do a lot of fertility, pesticide applications. We do the lawn that we're on right now, which is just well manicured, fine attention to detail lawn.
Yeah.
Sorry that the chairs are kind of pinching into
We'll roll
it.
that out.
Yeah,
don't
okay.
worry. There's gonna be a post work that we'll have to do.
Send Daniel the bill.
So from the turf grass field, which is kind of where we started, we've branched off into full scale maintenance. We do applications, we install gardens, we install lawns. So basically anything horticultural and in the landscape industry, we do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Nice. And so further to that, you've been in it 6 years now.
Yep.
What are some of the changes and I guess some of the trends that you foresee? Like what's sort of been zoned out, or people have moved away from sort of this traditional method and have things moved towards especially in the residential homes, because I think that's, obviously for Ben and myself, that's where we're primarily dealing with,
I think the biggest trend that I've seen in the last couple of years, and I think you may have seen this as well, is a lot of homeowners have been spending a lot of time at home.
Yes.
And so they've been working from home and, been forced to stay home.
I was going to say by force.
Yeah,
by force,
absolutely.
A lot of time at home, for sure.
So when you're home and you're looking around, you start to realize, I want to upgrade this. This isn't up to snuff. Or you start to, maybe spend some more time on the computer and Pinterest, and you're saying, well, why doesn't my lawn look like that? Or why doesn't my gardens look like that? So I think a lot of people in the last couple of years have been spending more time and effort into getting their gardens looking better.
Walking around their garden, and they can't leave their property, so they're probably going crazy and want to create a buffer of privacy from their neighbor.
So, and I'm just to lean on that, because that sort of has been a trend. I know I found it when I was home over, those lockdowns and periods.
You were planting flowers for days.
Yeah, man, it was just
getting your garden on.
Getting my garden on.
Yeah.
So, are you finding, in terms of do-it-yourself from clients, what would sort of be, I guess, for our viewers that might be interested, what would be some tips that they might be able to, just like the real easy ones, the quick fixes for do-it-yourself, like some of the easiest things that they could just sort of take on themselves? Yeah,
well, it's I think for the longevity of a garden, it's important to kind of build a plan, and stick to it. And you can do some basic things, weeding. A lot of people love to mow their own lawns.
Yeah.
But I think it's building coming up with what you want and then sticking to that plan. That's super important.
Okay.
It's the way to really upgrade a property. It's what you want in 5 years starts today. That kind of feel.
Yeah. And it has to mature, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we were talking again off camera about this a little bit. I was saying I don't want to ask too many questions before we sit down, but just in terms of a real estate aspect, right? There's some properties, let's say if they're off of a neighborhood road or off of the main road, wherever it is, let's say there's a sales sign there and people are driving by, you only get one chance to make a good first impression. And sometimes if you see the landscaping is on point, you just want to know, okay, gosh, if they take that much care
like that
and they invest in their property on the outside, what is it like on the inside? And it's just a wonderful way to welcome people and very inviting. So what do you think? I mean, and again, I don't think many people invest or think of it as an investment actually in landscaping.
Well,
it's something that
and what we
ignored.
were saying is the interesting thing with, to piggyback on that is the first impression is actually the landscaping, right?
Yeah.
Like when you guys are showing a property, before you get into the house, you already have an impression of the grounds.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a level of upgrading the grounds will immediately have a better impression overall to the property. You can maybe have some bathrooms that aren't looking so good, but maybe that first impression gets over that hump, and so possibly when a homeowner is looking to sell, probably thinking about upgrading grounds and creating a good environment and a good first impression is certainly a good thing to do.
Well, yeah, 100%. Like, so curb appeal, essentially, right? Curb appeal. One of the things that I know from my experience in practice has been that, and especially while working with my colleague, he said since his time of basically doing appraisals and whatnot, say 20 years ago, the investment and the pride that people have had in their property and their lawns and their landscaping has sort of diminished quite drastically. Whereas, everyone, you go up on a state road or something like that, everyone used to have such pride and be like, all right, let's maintain this to this level. And there was a standard set across the board where everyone, really had well manicured properties. Whereas now I think, I don't know if it's got to be a time or the cost or what. Well, what do you think that might be?
And so I think it comes with professionalism, right? And again, we're a pretty young company that's hitting the ground running here in Bermuda, and I'm sure that we're sort of raising the bar when it comes to some of the things that we're doing. I mean, we have a good social presence. We're showing off some of the lawns and some of the properties that we're doing, and people see that, and it kind of raises the bar for
across the board.
For what client expectations are, as well as what our industry expectations are.
Yeah. And Daniel, just to that point, I mean, I see that all the time with certain properties that, and as you would as well with valuations, that have unfortunately fallen into disrepair. And I think it's like a generational thing where maybe our grandparents' age maintained, painted, did all of that around the house, and then things might be left to the parents or the grandkids, and there might be 5 or 6 people and no one knows what to do, and no one gives it the same care and attention. So that
you're not touching the lawnmower, Ben.
I'm nice with a machete. But no.
I think that's a general theme. And then to speaking to your point, that's like you coming in with sort of a fresh approach and outlook has definitely raised the game. I say it all the time. You actually remind me, and it's not even a plug for him because he hasn't sponsored us, but Scooter Mart sort of did a quite similar thing, I'd say, with their approach to marketing and their whole identity and stuff like that.
He needs to make a song then.
With their with their business profile, but I think that made everyone else sort of level up within that industry to really.
And I think another thing to maybe touch on as well is I think generation to generation, we're just busier, right? Yeah. And our work days have gotten extended. Yeah. Therefore, we don't have the time to sit and do all the things that maybe our parents were doing at their properties. Therefore, meaning you need to bring someone in, and hopefully they're going to do a better job than you would.
And there's more to do too, right? So our generations before us didn't have access to the internet, didn't have access to this, didn't have access to all of these different things. Something just fell on the side of us, but we're going to keep it. We're going to keep it rolling. We're going to keep it rolling. But
one take wonders.
But But that's generally that's how it is. So
and I'm lucky to be in an industry where I mean I can show a picture and it kind of it explains a lot about what we do. So it's a lot of fun.
And speaking of that, I would highly encourage everyone to look up Horti-Tec on Instagram, because even to your point, just some of the houses. There was a house that even I sold a few years ago that's on there now, and it looks 30 times better that I mentioned to you, which because you guys have been working there since. And have a look, and it's just so inspiring.
Yeah.
And for me, just thinking about the types of grass, and everyone knows about Bermuda grass and things like that. What we're on now, I thought would have been golf course grass, but it's not. But it looks like it. Yeah. What's the best grass on the market?
I like that. Now we're talking.
Tough talk.
Yeah. Now we're talking. So. For me, if you do go on our Instagram page, which is Horti-Tec BDA, most of the lawns you're going to see there are fine-tuned zoysia grass. Zoysia grass, a lot of people don't like it because it's quite invasive, but we have dialed in a program that really brings out the best in it. We cut it low, we stripe it up, we really make it look like a football pitch. It's really, really spectacular when you get it right. And you know what? Right now, it's kind of one of the keys to our success.
Keys to the rock, one might say.
Keys to the rock of our success.
Can you actually stripe it up into a D for Daniel?
Absolutely.
You can do all these sorts of things?
Absolutely. We can do anything.
On a birthday, mate.
And Ben has now officially gone down the rabbit hole. So on that note, I think, is there any more questions for Sean?
I'm just curious, how big is the team? Where are you guys growing in your presence and your team?
Yeah,
and,
so we, again, we're a very young team, and we've been able to penetrate a really, really tough market, our industry here in Bermuda. Okay. I mean, there's a lot of... a lot of this industry has some really good companies that have been here for a while, and there's not really many young companies that are being able to penetrate. But again, through our turf grass management and through our attention to detail, we've been able to get to where we're at. Our team currently is we're 10 people strong, looking to grow, always looking to grow, and
literally.
It was literally looking to grow. Yeah,
that's a great slogan.
Yeah. But, well, and I'll make a note of that.
Yeah. But that's.
And then, so what does the average client look like for you guys right now?
Yeah, interestingly, we have a very, very wide range of clientele.
Small to big proproperties type.
Yeah,
thing,
I mean, again, we have properties like this where it's attention to detail. Everything needs to look perfect. Yeah. Some of our properties in Tuckerstown, same deal. And then we have, properties who just want to come in and get their grass mowed, and we're there, a couple times a month. So it's a very wide range, and we look to service anyone really, and kind of build a program for anyone who's interested.
Yeah. Okay. I could ramble off so many questions. I'm so curious. What's the most expensive palm tree? Do you guys do putting greens?
Yes, we do.
But also, I've seen, at least in the UK where my in-laws are from, but maybe it's due to the weather, but when you mention turf, you mean actual grass, right? Because out there, even in Bermuda, I've seen it where there's fake grass.
Yeah.
So is that what you mean by turf?
Yeah, so turf is grass. So my background, again, is in turf grass management.
Fake grass?
No, turf grass.
Turf grass, okay.
Organic
because
grass.
You know what I mean? Like almost like astroturf.
Yeah, astroturf,
which
correct.
A lot of property, certainly around the world, but if you look at houses even in California, like some of the biggest mansions, they have like fake grass around their pools and around their roof decks and all of that, and that's a warm climate. And
so. Every turf has its practice. I mean, there are certain areas where it's really hard to grow natural grass. So you got to go synthetic sometimes.
But do you guys do putting greens and things like that as well?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, cool. We do croquet lawns, putting greens, tennis lawns.
Right.
Man, he's gonna have to bill you soon.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just so fascinated.
Yeah, and again, for me, getting out of the golf course industry, where all my attention was in playability, now coming over to the landscape side, I love working on projects that are dealing with playability rather than just aesthetics, because it's a little bit more of a management, and it's a lot more fun for me. Sometimes I miss that golf course.
I'm sure. Any more questions, Dan? You're
I
looking to me if I have any more.
You was going to go on a spiel.
So people can reach out to Sean.
You was going to go on a spiel, but yeah, I think this is the part where we say, well, thank you. We thank Sean.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
We say if anyone wants to reach or contact Sean, his details will be somewhere around here.
Yep.
Yeah, watch your hand, Sean. Watch your hand. And yeah, much appreciated for coming on and just educating us. I know we're going to talk more offline collectively just because we want to go really deep into this rabbit hole, more than our 30-minute episodes can cover.
Yeah.
But much appreciated for coming on.
Yeah, great. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for having us at this these lovely gardens at this fantastic location.
Yeah.
Come check out Huckleberry if you haven't. Great brunch.
Absolutely.
Great brunch. Thank you.
And we are back. Big shout out to our sponsor. Many thanks, Greenlight Energy. Great people over there.
Yep.
You see what they're doing. Everything they're doing.
Seen it, love it, like it.
They're starting to bring in the white
solar panels
too, right?
Yeah,
so that's
we should have
exciting.
them back on, or like a little side episode.
Yeah, I think we're good. No, I'm joking. I'd love to have
it's
those guys
amazing
back.
what they're doing, and
No, and they're expanding
great
too.
commercial every single time we see it.
You seen it?
We just saw it. The commercial was just great. It just, I love it.
Anywho, let's moving on. Let's give a huge thank you to the location that we're at right now, Rosedon / Huckleberry, I guess.
Huckleberry, the restaurant, Rosedon, the hotel.
Yeah, and they've been great hospitality over here, so we've enjoyed ourselves. The grounds, the gardens, everything is just polished. It's just clean cut. So many thanks to them, and many thanks to Sean Adams of Horti-Tec for coming in, dropping in, and just sharing a wealth of knowledge in all things landscaping, especially when it comes to dealing with your property and whatnot.
Yeah. Keys.
So yeah, go ahead. Keys. What's your key to the episode?
I was going to steal your one, but I'm not. But since I'm going first, but I'll just say the importance of considering landscaping an actual key investment in your property. I think that really goes unnoticed, and so many people don't even think about that. But there are properties, whether it's for even photographs wise, right? When you're trying to sell them. And we really try to take advantage of the landscaping and everything that kind of can show. And you get one chance for that first impression, which is definitely going to lead into what the key is.
Leaning on, piggybacking on what Ben just said, my one would be curb appeal, right? So it's like, as Ben mentioned, the first thing that you see of a property is just driving by it or walking by it or seeing it online, taking a cycle by it, or anything of that nature. So by all means, having your landscaping up to a good quality and top tier is really going to impact and help out the value of your property or just the interest that your property can get, right? So yeah, that would be my one right there.
And reach out to Sean. I mean, I'm sure he would be more than happy to visit any properties, give a little consultation about little things that people can do, whether they help themselves initially and then people can take it from there, or if it's a full-time kind of maintenance thing. But as he's been saying to us, even off camera, they can really kind of create a plan and they really truly stick to it, and they can hold you accountable for it for your property. And of course, with landscaping and looking around here at Huckleberry at Rosedon Hotel, this is something that grows, and it does take time and it does take dedication, but it does make the world of difference for just the atmosphere outside of a home or a hotel.
Yeah. No. So where are we at now? Small business shout out. No, it's not really a business that I was going to shout out. Well, we shout out Huckleberry, but what I specifically would like to shout out is more of a venture or non-profit organization, a mission, and it is called
Future
Leaders Bermuda. I
got your back, mate.
That's why we're here. Teamwork
made
the dream work.
you.
So Future Leaders is a community organization, I want to say led by Ryan Robinson, parent chief, and a group of really dedicated other young persons. And what they do is they really try to empower high school students. I want to say high school students, all the way just help them grow to basically be able to provide something of value to Bermuda in a leadership
gives them
capacity.
The confidence to
and they really just map out plans and help them develop the skills that they need necessary
to be future leaders.
To be future leaders, you caught me off guard with that one. But no, great organization. Been to a few of the events they've held, and I'm just really honestly, I just appreciate everything that they're doing.
And they're on social media as well.
Yeah, they're on social media. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have it in like a left corner or somewhere right there.
Left corner, right corner.
But definitely, if you want to get involved, I find like them, similar to one of the last groups that we shouted out, they make it very easy for you to just go and lend a hand and get involved
it's a
in
mentoring
sort of what they're
process,
doing.
right?
So,
Yeah.
And great people over there. So that's the shout out for today, of the organizational shout out today. And I think that takes us to our time, I'd say, Ben. Yeah,
absolutely. It's been an amazing episode, and just really feeling kind of in like a spiritual sense of my Azorian heritage, and with landscaping really is where everything grows from, right?
So like, comment, share. Thanks for watching, and be sure to reach out to myself or Ben Rigo for any of your real estate needs.
Sean.
And of course, Sean Adams of Horti-Tec for any of your needs. And thanks for watching episode 10. Episode 10. Jeez, that feels great. Shout out our team for making it 10 episodes, putting up with us. KeysToRock.com.
Thanks, guys.